All right, welcome to our final Tech Talk for 2021. It's been a long year. We've been doing this since January, and we appreciate all of our attendees as always. Today's going to be kind of real loose and just a quick overview of Automation Fair, or preview of Automation Fair, which is next week. And if anyone has attended Automation Fair in the past, then you kind of know what to expect. The Automation Fair format is still the same as always, but just a few tweaks due to the COVID and the pandemic. So first, we'll say that we are recording our session, and we make these recordings available afterwards. And if you have any questions throughout, feel free to put them into the chat or the Q&A panel, and we'll be happy to try to answer it. So as I said, today's our last online session for the year, and I wanted to again compliment all of our specialists for getting these events done throughout the year. It takes a lot of work behind the scenes. Not to be complaining, it just takes a lot of work behind the scenes to put these together, and a lot of coordination from a lot of our specialists throughout all of our branches. So we've done quite a lot this year. We did 10 user group seminars, 21 Tech Talk seminars, including the one today, and 16 podcast episodes. So that's a lot of content we've created. And all of that stuff is archived on our website at reynoldsonline.com under the resources page. So all this content is available. If you've missed any of those sessions, you can always go back and watch them, or if you want to watch them again, they're there on the reynoldsonline.com and on our YouTube channel. So again, we don't have anything else for the rest of the year as far as events. We'll pick up again in January. We'll be over the holiday break, we'll be putting together our 2022 schedule. So look forward to those events coming up in the new year. We'll probably stick with the same format we've been doing, tech talks and user groups throughout the year. So today, it's going to be 3 automation specialists, Mike Masterson, David Newt, and myself, Wayne Welk, just talking about Automation Fair. And of course, Mike and David are in Houston, so they're the home team for Automation Fair this year. And I'm out of New Orleans, which is pretty much an eastern suburb of Houston. All right, so so we're going to keep it really loose and informal today, and no PowerPoint beyond that. We're just going to kind of tool around the Automation Fair, Rockwell Automation website, and kind of show some of the things perhaps that you may not have seen or noticed. If you are attending the show, then that is great, and I know we look forward to seeing you there next week. If you haven't signed up yet, it's not too late to register for Automation Fair. My understanding is that the Process Solutions user group is full and unavailable. Seats are unavailable for that. That was a kind of an in-person only session, I think. And whereas Automation Fair is live, and we'll have an online component too. So again, if you cannot travel, you can catch some of the highlights in the online stream. And we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. So first and foremost, what is it? Where is it? It is, or when is it and where is it? It is next week. It is Wednesday, November the 10th and the 11th. And it is in Houston, Texas. What is that? The George R. Brown Convention Center? Is that right? Right yeah. Name there, hopefully. So right in the heart of downtown. And so registration, if you go to automationfair.com, you'll come to this exact site where I'm at right now, and you can hit register to attend, and you can sign up. And again, you can choose your path. Or if you're going to attend live, you have that option, or if you want to attend the virtual, you can attend that option. I will say that if you do sign up for the live and you decide later that you cannot or don't want to go, you have access to the virtual pieces without having to do anything else to your registration. So of course, the big elephant in the room when it comes to a large event like this is health and safety guidelines. And so they have those discussed right here on that automationfair.com homepage. So if you are planning to attend, They're going to follow, they're going to be in accordance with all the CDC recommendations and local health guidelines. So one of the things that they will look for is a proof of vaccination or a negative test within 72 hours for all participants, including exhibitors and distributors and our customers too. And masks will be required on the show floor and in the labs and technical sessions. So that should not be too big of a surprise to anyone, especially with a large event and a lot of people indoors in a facility. So kind of the standard things you've been used to here. And they ask for try to stay socially distanced as best as possible. Make sure you wash your hands. And as far as I think food goes, I think they're going to do more of a kind of a quick service, kind of give you a meal perhaps already prepared, and you can kind of take that and take that to the table. Versus in the past, if you've been in the past, usually it's like a big buffet. You go and you kind of choose what you want. Here they'll just kind of have a prepared, I guess, kind of like a box lunch perhaps ready for you. All right, so that covers the basics there, and after that we'll turn over to Mike and David briefly to talk about what you expect at the exhibits. And so again, just driving to the website up here in the menu bar, Automation Fair exhibits, and we have kind of three pieces here: Rockwell, the partner showcase, and new products and solutions. So we'll just click on Rockwell Automation exhibits first. So we'll turn it over to Mike for a moment.
And I'll jump in here. Rockwell is following what they've done in the last couple of automation fairs. They've broken down their exhibits so they can create an interactive experience. They want to showcase the latest technologies and solutions that they've developed along with their Encompass partner network. So without reading these off for you, there's going to be the digital transformation solutions area. That's where they look at asset optimization, enterprise operational intelligence, scalable manufacturing, and the digital workforce, and how all these can be used to increase efficiency. That's where a lot of that PTC components coming in to play. Then there's going to be an industrial pavilion. That's where we're going to take a look at specific industries. This could be oil and gas, popular in our market, pharma, which I'm gaining new exposure to all the time, rubber, life sciences, automotive. All those will have their own little parts of the industry pavilion will contain all those little segments of manufacturing. Then there's the innovation section of the exhibit, where let's take a look how Rockwell Automation has actually utilized their own digital technology in their manufacturing process. Then Lifecycle IQ. That's looking at how we utilize cybersecurity, augmented reality, virtual reality technology to promote long-term modernization inside your facility. Then the product and technology showcase, which is going to focus on smart manufacturing, improving productivity, quality, safety, and insights that improve in decision making. So that's the basic framework of how the exhibits are going to be set up. Then there's going to be the customer showcase experience. That's going to show how a real customer got real results utilizing Rockwell's digital framework and smart machines to create a real efficient, scalable production facility. I believe they're actually going to be showcasing Amway production facility. And with that, then we're going to take a look at some of the partner showcase. This is not just Rockwell show. Rockwell has many Encompass partners that are also going to be participating. As you're seeing now on the screen, we have some of our old favorites: Cisco, E&H, PTC, which is helping Rockwell drive their digital transformation. But also we have some of our other partners that I want to make sure that the ones that we work out with all the time, like a Hoffman, HMS for our gateways and communicators, e-plans for design, clarity for cybersecurity. But then we go into the hundreds of other little product or vendors that we work with. Stratus Technologies on the servers, ProSoft for their gateways. All these customers are going to have their own booths there. If you go through that list there, you'll also see some of our key integrators are also going to be participating there. So it's just not going to be Rockwell services there. We're going to have some of our independent integrators there also showing us what they've done in the world of Rockwell. Now, with that, we're going to take a quick look at, and David and Wayne are going to jump in, and we're going to look at some new products and services that are going to be offered.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. And so when we're going to, there's quite a bit of content that you're going to see, and you know, last year we didn't have an in-person automation fair, so there's a lot of stuff to show that maybe was released last year that probably would have been showcased in the 20, or this year that would have been showcased in the 2020 fair that didn't happen. So we'll talk about some of this now, and also the way this is organized on their website kind of gives you an idea of where Rockwell's company is headed in general. And so the first section that Rockwell's featuring is actually cybersecurity, not, you know, controllers or IO or anything like that. So you kind of get an idea of where Rockwell's head is at the moment. And so a lot of the cybersecurity is service focused, but there is a new product that Rockwell released called the SIP Security Proxy. And that's pretty interesting because that enables an existing facility to implement SIP security where you may have some older controllers and older hardware that don't have SIP security built into it inherently. So that's something that we expect to see a lot of growth in the near future as companies implement their security implementations. And there's some other things like you know, you can see the Cisco and the Clarity relationships that Rockwell has. You can see that reflected in the software and hardware at the fair as well.
Yeah, this the new like a compute module with the security, you know, security kind of put into the compute module. So now you have an, you know, an in chassis. So that's an interesting new development there to take a look at if you're at the show. Yep.
Yeah, I need to learn more about that myself.
We're kind of seeing some of these things for the first time too ourselves, to be honest. So yeah,
it's truly one of those things. We saw some of the products that they're going to be showing, and this will be our first look for them also.
And so within digital engineering, I think the biggest thing here is the FactoryTalk Logix Echo, which was just released last month in October, which gives us the ability to emulate the new L8 controllers, or the L8 controllers that have been out for a little while, with the 5380s to follow in the next release. But that's probably one of Rockwell's bigger software releases this year in my mind, as well as some of the new simulation interface updates that Rockwell has been adding in the last couple of years to Studio 5000. And then so here in the industrial innovations, sort of, I kind of lump this category into how some of the design tools are being introduced to cloud infrastructure. And so that's something I don't see being utilized a lot in the near future, but kind of down the road, this is kind of where Rockwell is headed with respect to you know, throwing Studio 5000 into some cloud interfaces, developing a FactoryTalk Hub software. So this is a lot of sort of forward-looking technology. Rockwell is getting into remote access this year. I don't know if this is actually released or not, but the new remote access software coupled with the 4300 Stratix remote access router, that's kind of I would say somewhat anticipated in the market as Rockwell kind of jumps into it. We've had to in the past on that. And so again, we're talking about networking and security and stuff is sort of the front forward focus of the products at the show. The 5800 managed switches, we're kind of moving into the gigabit world finally with these switches. And we've, these have been released earlier this year, but we've been waiting quite a while for those. We also have some of the Cisco technology partnerships that are highlighted here. One of the things that's kind of interesting on the sort of on the with the E300 edition is the AnyBus Modbus TCP gateway there, which enables plug-in directly to a TCP network, a Modbus network directly from your E300, which I think we'd certainly like every E300 to connect to Ethernet IP, but we know that's not necessarily the case. So this was a nice little introduction from AnyBus this year. And so Mike introduced Lifecycle IQ services. So think about integrated service agreements or training, etc. That's sort of the product, what Rockwell's sort of calling their support and training services now, Lifecycle IQ. So check that out. And Rockwell's made a lot of software acquisitions in the last 18 months. So Fix is one of those. Fix is a computer maintenance management system, or a maintenance cloud-based system for maintenance software. So that's something that happened earlier this year, I think the beginning of the year. So we've been introducing that to some of our customers, and Rockwell's pretty excited about that software, as well as another acquisition called Plex, which is more around maintenance analytics, and that's also a cloud-based system. So think about sort of a modern MES type of a system where but instead of having on-premises servers to manage, you've got a cloud-based solution. And with modern ways to get at your KPIs in manufacturing, as well as a Cisco, heavy duty access point, which we haven't really had for a little while. The wireless access point. Now, in process, there's the PSUG event that focuses on process exclusively, but for the general show, Rockwell will be showing the Plant PX 5.1, which is a minor release after the major 5.0 release that happened, I think, at the end of 2020. So be sure to see the latest there, implementation with the new process controllers and some of the new I/O feature availability. Safety is more around component safety, as well as some safety devices in the MCCs that will be on showcase.
Yeah, this MCC maintenance grounding device would be something interesting to learn more about, bringing safety into the MCC buckets.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get on there. We'll sorry for component guys, we'll kind of go past some of this component stuff, other than getting to
let's get to the important stuff.
Yeah, so although it's under components, the it was 61850 module for control logic, so another embedded solution that's going to bring IEC 61850 right into the chassis. That's will be something of interest to our power customers.
Yeah, for switchgear automation systems, that's a nice addition. Before we had to go through a external gateway.
And there's a ProSoft also with ProSoft partner, with their 61850 client as well. But this is what you're wanting to get to, I know, David.
This is the primary, and notice how we had to climb all the way down to the bottom of the website to get to it. But this is sort of the innovations on the controller and I/O, which in my mind, the primary thing that I want to see first is the FlexHa 5000 IO, which is our newest, will be our newest IO platform that will integrate process and safety, much anticipated addition to plant PAX systems. I'm not really sure when the release date of this is. You know, the website just says more information coming soon, so I think we'll get a taste at the show, but I don't expect it to be released right away. But I really would like to see the roadmap and see how this see the future kind of Rockwell's process IO and safety comes along. Um, you know, the Flex 5000 analog safety, we've been waiting a long time for that as well. I think that is out now.
It
So
will
if not,
be out
it's
before the
imminent.
end of the year.
Okay, so that's a big plus. We won't have to rely on just the point IO to do analog safety now.
I think this kind of gets us towards the bottom here. Yep.
That kind of winds us up. I mean, the Stratix ZT Edge, the ZTC Edge server, it's on a second generation, so they've added some memory and I think some hard drive space, which makes it a lot more compatible with the plant PAX systems.
Especially if you're running the new expanded ones. If you're needing to run more than 4 images, the newer, larger ZTC edges are made for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that kind of winds us up here.
Yeah, that was it for new products. So that's, again, a preview of some of the new stuff, either stuff that's been recently released or, coming, and like David said, a lot of sneak peeks of what might be down the road in in a year from now, perhaps. So we'll kind of move on just to kind of highlight some of the other major, features, or some of the sessions and the, both the industry forums and technical sessions. So David, you'll highlight industry forums real quick for us.
Sure. So, Rockwell always has highlights certain industries and at certain automation fairs, and so here, I think every automation fair usually has automotives, but here in Houston we'll have chemical, and energy has sort of been rewritten a little bit around stuff, but then of course oil and gas, probably our primary industry. So there will be a focus on oil and gas. We see oil and gas getting through a pretty tough time here in the last 18 months, but we're expecting some growth next year. And then of course power and energy, and water, wastewater is always a big industry all across all geographies. So you'll see all those industries represented at the show. And then there's always a full session of labs and hands-on stuff to look forward to, and this is no exception. I think what we said earlier in the tech talk, I think a lot of these will be accessible. So if you're not signed up right now, you don't need to panic. But if you are signed up, go ahead and check a lot of these sessions out. It'll be available over the 2.5 days of the show.
If you haven't done this, it's really easy. It's nice. Everything's, you can filter by your track, by your session types, times, dates, even by audience, your personas perhaps. So you can really filter this out, pick topics that look of interest to you and attend. And that kind of leads us to kind of the online component at this point too, right? So again, everything about Automation Fair in live and in person is kind of what everyone's used to. I don't think there's any major changes to it. One thing I forgot to show at the very beginning was for the in-person event, here's kind of the agenda or the time, right? So again, the Tuesday is the Process Solutions Users Group. It's a full day event, but then the main Automation Fair is Wednesday and Thursday, and the exhibit hall will be open from 8 a.m. to 5:30 on Tuesday until 4 o'clock on Thursday, and then your industry forums will run in the morning, in the lunch break, and then again in the afternoon. So kind of the same format for both Thursday and Friday. If you cannot attend, then you can also take advantage of the virtual broadcast schedule. So there will be some live, I guess some live broadcasting going on all 3 days. Tuesday, of course, is the PSUG event again. So there'll be some, well, actually the Tuesday is kind of I think the larger kind of Rockwell kind of, senior leadership perspectives on the industry. And then Wednesday and Thursday will be really things around the event itself. So looks like they'll be doing the Process Solutions User Group keynote, perhaps a rebroadcast of that. But what I found of interest here was just the show floor tours, which would be kind of interesting. So, not only is it the technical sessions, but you can also get a tour of the exhibit floor and see all the things that Mike and David were just talking about, such as the transformation and lifecycle IQ and all the various Rockwell booths, and probably some of the key partner booths as well. And then the technical sessions, I'm not totally sure on their online availability. I know some will probably be recorded and made available after the fact. And so the one thing to be noted here is that the hands-on labs, which we didn't really kind of highlight, but the hands-on labs are still a part of this year's automation fair. Those, of course, will only be live and in person. But what happens a lot of times now is once the event's over, those labs become available to us to spin up using the on-course, or what was formerly known as the RACBI or RACB, so that the cloud-based infrastructure. So we can spin those labs up after the event and take advantage of those. So if you're interested there and couldn't do a hands-on lab, reach out to us. And with that, I don't know, is there anything else we want to cover here? I think we kind of hit the highlights of Automation Fair. The only thing left would be to just attend and check it out for yourself.
Yeah, hope to see a lot of our customers here next week and partners as well. Looking forward to getting back together.
Yep. So automationfair.com if you haven't registered. And again, thank you for attending. Thank you for attending all, for throughout our entire year. And we look forward to seeing you all back in our technical sessions in 2022 as well. So thanks, David. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Wayne.